Yo, what's going on, everybody? Thank you all for tuning in. My name is Cody Vondell, and I'm back today with more of the best free fonts for Y2K aesthetic. This is the 10th episode in this ongoing series, so let's kick it off with a look back at some of the fonts we've covered so far. Before we get started, just gotta say thank you all so much for liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing my videos. It means so much that the work that I'm doing on screen helps you with your design process. And if you're working along with me, following along on screen, or using some of the templates that I sell on Etsy, make sure to hop on our Discord server. We have an awesome community. It's always growing. All kinds of graphic designers, music producers, creators over there sharing their works in progress, their free resources, memes, music. It's an amazing community. Let's take a moment really quick to check out what everybody's been creating. As per usual, every day, very talented creators coming on, posting stuff, having really fun conversations. I'm very thankful for all of you over there, and if you're not there already, I hope to see you there soon. If you want to support my channel and get yourself some cool merchandise and graphic design templates, make sure to hop on my Etsy. I have pins and patches, t-shirts and hats, a variety of holographic stickers, and graphic design templates that will speed up your workflow. And if you like my background music, my intro music, outro music, I create it all. Just search Cody Vondell on Spotify or your preferred streaming service, and you can also find me on SoundCloud and Bandcamp. Of course, at Cody Vondell on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and all the social media stuff. With all that being said, let's hop on screen and start playing with some new fonts. Okay, so we have one of my Vectorheart asset pieces that you can download from my Etsy. And we are just dropping that from Illustrator into Photoshop and opening up eyecandy. And we are going to create a Metalheart form, but we're not going to be doing it in Blender 3D. So I used Cinema 4D for years, and I recently stopped subscribing to it. And I'm trying to dedicate some time to learning Blender, but I just haven't had the time to really dedicate to it yet. So for now, we're just going to be focusing on using eyecandy and vector assets to kind of create one of those Metalheart forms that you would typically create in Blender. So the idea here is to go ahead and find a really cool preset chrome texture, and eyecandy is loaded with those. So it can be a hard choice sometimes, but we'll go ahead and settle on something, go over here and kind of adjust the bevel and height, the width, smoothness, and the rounded corners. We want it to feel really liquid-like, like gel, almost like chrome gel. So that's the idea here. So we'll go ahead and get that chrome exposure layer adjusted, and let's go ahead and start playing around maybe with the color a little bit. And the big thing I want to focus on is the warp tool. So this is how we are going to create our Metalheart piece. Now this is not the usual way that people would go about that, but at the moment I still need to learn Blender. I no longer have access to Cinema 4D, so I am using what I've got in the meantime to create something cool. And it's actually surprising how nice this is kind of turning out. I've done it a few times now, and it actually doesn't look awful. So that is the plan, creating a Metalheart form using this warp tool and eyecandy. So already you can see we've got a little something going on that's pretty cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that, scale it down a little bit, maybe adjust it a tiny bit, and once again, yeah, I guess adjust the colors, and we'll warp it some more and get it even more twisted and weird looking. We'll probably do like 3 of these total. We could probably just use 2 and it would be fine, but a third one I think will just kind of fill in the space just a little bit more. So as you can see, we're just kind of pulling these edges around and just trying to find the right folds to mesh with the layer that we already have in front of it. And I think we're finally getting into something that feels pretty cool. Just dragging this corner out to the side here. And like I said, the ideal way to do something like this would be using Blender or Cinema 4D, but I'm kind of in between quitting Cinema 4D and learning Blender. So in the meantime, if I want to make something quick on the spot, got to use the resources that I know best, and that is Photoshop, Illustrator, After Effects, that kind of stuff. So with that being said, we are going to copy this one more time and adjust it just a little bit more. Maybe bring the colors up, make it a little bit brighter, and just continue playing around with these folds. So already, not sure how I'm feeling about this one. We're gonna just keep twisting it and seeing what we come up with. It's all about just playing with this kind of stuff, and we don't really have a you know, a 3D right now, so we're just kind of playing with folding these the right way and hoping that it comes up with something that looks really cool. It's kind of a, you know, Metalheart hack. Not sure if I'm feeling this this piece. Let's restart with that one. Let's try dragging it over this way and doing something like this. Just see how all that works out. So something like that. Actually, that turned out pretty decent. I do kind of like this one. So we'll put that in the back a little bit, maybe bring it down here. And yeah, I think that's a pretty comfortable spot for it. I'm feeling pretty good about it. Overall, I think these pieces look really nice together. So let's go ahead and play with the font. So our first free font we're gonna be playing with is Cyberonica. I'm gonna play with the kerning a little bit, get it kind of stretched out some. I think that might work for what we're doing. And we'll come up with some other cool text, Trance and Techno Volume 2, give it a, you know, 90s techno kind of vibe. I think that always, that's always fun. So we'll bring that right down here, and we'll add in some pieces from some of my Vectorheart pieces and Y2K kits and stuff like that. So we'll grab a few of these, place them right here, and see what works best. I think something like this would work down here, and we'll just kind of stretch it out. I want these to feel really slim and sort of, I don't know, just really mesh well with that organic form of like the Metalheart style, that whole kind of look. So maybe we can grab a few of these little dots, see where we could place those, maybe down here somewhere. I think something like that's looking pretty cool already. It's simple, but I think it's going to work well with the design. We're focused, I think, a little bit less on the logo by itself and more on how the type is going to work with the overall graphic. So something like this might work. Make these a little bit bigger over here. Yeah, I'm kind of feeling that. Those are feeling about right. And we're doing this all really quickly, just kind of having fun. We're not really thinking out and planning this all methodically. We're just kind of rotating things and adjusting things and having fun. Just kind of, you know, playing around with stuff on screen to kind of demonstrate cool fonts and what we can do with them. So I think we need to adjust the kerning a little bit here because that was just not working out for me. So we'll play around a little bit more with this here. And we'll move these dots over, I think, as well. Something like that. Yeah, I think something like that ought to work. I think that's going to fall in here a little bit better. Yeah, perfect. And we can put it down here to begin with and start playing with some different styles. That might be a little bit too big. We might make it a little bit smaller and adjust the layer styles just a tiny bit, something like that. Yeah, just adjusting those layer styles, and yeah, we still need it to be just a little bit smaller. I think something right there is starting to feel pretty accurate. Let's go ahead and rasterize that layer, and make sure we get all the little pieces. Playing around with different options, I think that dark color is maybe a little too much. So yeah, I think something like that works best. Thick white outline on some cool futuristic fonts. Let's go ahead and pull a halftone texture over here. Something like that is looking cool. And yeah, I guess for now we'll just get this thing placed. I feel like those are too big. Maybe we could scale it down. Bring it up here, and now I'm just going to fill in that bottom space with a slightly darker color, I believe. So go ahead and use the shape tool, make something like that. Already, yeah, that's totally, our layout is come together now. That is feeling cool. So I think one other thing we can do is kind of fill in these little spots and get our text in there feeling cool in some way or another. So let's go ahead and see what we could do here. We'll bring these in. I know we want to put this down here somewhere. We want the color overlay to be white so you can read it easily on that purple background. So yeah, I think that placement is looking cool. And let's go ahead and make some kind of cool little like logo to kind of have over in the corner. And we'll write out a little like website and copyright 1997 kind of stuff. Make it feel vintage, like you found it in a used record store. And yeah, let's go ahead and drag. What could we use here? Let's put this in here. So it's like right underneath, and we'll just kind of make sure they're all scaled accurately. Bring this down a little bit, and we'll bring this over here, and we'll put it all in a little container. Put our outlines on, turn our fill off, get everything nice and centered, and adjust the curves on our rectangle. I think that's it right there. Cool. And once we place it in there, we'll just change the color to white. That is looking great. We'll copy all of these layers. We'll merge them. And we will go ahead and put our filter overlay on so it kind of has a print look. Look at all those details. That's looking nice. Perfect. That is exactly what I was going for. All right, and our next font is called Theagiza, and we are going for more of a Metalheart kind of look this time. So I've created outlines out of that text so I could round the corners a little bit. And let's play around with some little pieces from our Y2K aesthetic icons template. I believe we could probably use some type of ring in the background. First of all, let's go ahead and get that kind of faux 3D look by placing our top layer with no outlines, just white fill over our back layer, which is thick black outlines with black fill. And as you can see, we've just kind of adjusted those a little bit. So it has that faux 3D look. And now we're kind of adding this kind of ring thing. I was feeling like the ring look might be cool here. And we're just going to adjust it a bit until we get it feeling right. Feeling like it's in the right spot. And we might need some kind of like cool techie underline kind of thing over there as well. So we can grab one of these pieces, maybe something like this or that. And let's go ahead and try this one. This is one of my favorite pieces I've ever made. I use it all the time. And it's always cool when I see you guys using that one too. So yeah, I'm thinking these are the right pieces. Just got to adjust them the right way, get things feeling proper. And still need to adjust that ring a tiny bit. Still playing around with that. See if there are any other little things we need to add in here. We want that to feel comfortable over there, so we might get in that corner right there and just make sure it's looking nice. Cool, yeah, that's exactly right. All right, this piece is actually feeling pretty cool. We're gonna fill in this little spot back here. And that is a finished logo ready to go. So let's go ahead and work on the design for this. So we'll go ahead and place it in our empty space here and go ahead and get some stroke color going on. I think we're gonna use some of these shapes here in this vector asset kind of, these are a bunch of just free pieces that I've downloaded over the years that I use here and there. So they are fun. And we're just going to use a couple of those to create a cool design. So already we're applying some yellow color, getting a nice kind of yellow outline on our text. And we're going to play around with this sort of a factory looking kind of silhouette vector shape. So now we're just adjusting these pieces and just kind of having fun figuring out exactly how we want things to look, adjusting the stroke on the logo there so all of our pieces are kind of filled in the way we'd like. I think something like that is looking cool. I like the, I feel like the Vectorheart style looks great when you're turning things, you have a little bit of an angle. So we'll just keep that up. I think maybe we'll drop a second little factory piece in here and we'll scale it down some. And already this is starting to take shape. Starting to get some depth going on. So we will adjust these, turn them sideways so that they match our font. Already things are looking cool. Let's go ahead and start playing with some of these I don't even know what you call these circular forms. So many things in the early 2000s had these circles. I know they're kind of reminiscent of styles from like the 60s and 70s, and they kind of made a comeback in like the late 90s to early to mid. Well, honestly, this style was still really popular even by like the mid to late 2000s. You were still seeing this kind of stuff. So yeah, playing with a style that doesn't feel that too distant, but looking back 12 or 13 years ago, yeah, it is starting to get back there a little bit. So Just kind of taking a walk down memory lane with this one, having some fun stuff. A lot of the music and concert posters, record labels, album covers, all that kind of stuff, band t-shirts. Back when I was in high school and college and that whole era, had this kind of style going on. So I was always really attracted, and I still have a lot of stuff in storage with this style from, 15 years ago. So one of these days I might have to dig some of that stuff up on a video and we'll take a look. Maybe we'll do it over the holiday season. So yeah, now we're gonna put some of these sort of organic plant forms kind of in here, and obviously all vector pieces, but yeah, that kind of mix of industrial factory look with the leaves and all that kind of stuff gives a really cool, just a cool aesthetic that I've always been really attracted to. Obviously, very nostalgic for me as well. So having a fun time designing this one. And we are playing around with this piece. Overall, I don't think I'm going to end up keeping this one, but just kind of filling in space right now and just seeing how it looks. It doesn't look awful. It's a little bit messy. I think, yeah, if we were to kill that piece right there, we'd get a much cleaner kind of look. But let's go ahead and add our overtones and, yeah, overall giving it that kind of printed feel. Look at all these details. Turned out really nice. So there are two very distinct aesthetics from the early 2000s, and I really like how these fonts complemented these particular styles. Before you go, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I have a ton of fun content planned that you do not want to miss out on. And if you want to check out some of my recent work, I started a new series where I touch up your logos and your graphic designs. Just hop on my server and post your work in the Fix My Design channel. I made a brand new video on using eyecandy to get realistic chrome textures. I did a video breaking down the process that I went through to create my own new free font called Googie. I released a video on my design process creating a new font for Virtua 94. And I've been playing around, digging around through some of the archives, looking at some of the old music that I created, so I'm planning on dropping a bunch of new old music soon, so stay posted for that. That wraps us up for today. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm looking forward to talking to you on my Discord, and I will catch you in my next video. Thank you all.